There are 2 rooms, one red, one blue. You are in the red room. Someone else is in the blue room. You both go to sleep in your respective rooms. Where do you wake the next day? If you believe you are an individual, the intuitive answer is that you'll wake in the red room. But now let's change something. Your brain. While you sleep, we transfer your brain entirely from the body in the red room to the body in the blue room. Now, in which room will you wake? You may think you'll wake in the blue room, but what if we don't transfer your brain all at once? What if, while you sleep, we transfer it in 3 stages, so that by morning, all of your brain has been transferred? Now, in which room will you wake? You may think of it like moving house, transferring your possessions in stages. It may have taken longer, but you still moved. Since the end result was the same, you may think that you'll wake in the blue room. But wait, when only 1/3 of your brain was swapped, that became the new you. Our brains change naturally. This is how we learn. The atoms that make up our body are also replaced naturally over time. This is a more dramatic and rapid change, certainly, but in principle it's no different. With each third that's replaced then, you become the new you. You are now greatly changed from before, but given that each alteration formed the new you, won't you in fact wake up in the red room, albeit with a different personality and different memories? These 2 interpretations seem equally valid, but they contradict each other, because if you are only one person, then you can only wake in one room. It seems to be a paradox, but what this thought experiment shows is that the premise is wrong. Your consciousness is not transferred between the rooms. You are both people, and you will wake in both rooms. You are me, and I am you. There is no paradox. There is just an illusion of individuality. That illusion, the misleading impression of continuity of self, is a trick of memory. In fact, we could just swap a small fraction of the brains in this thought experiment, the memory of the room you went to sleep in, and each person would think they were waking in a different room. You may find it hard to believe that you can be more than one person, but you likely already accept the principle behind this, because it's the same principle you apply to your body. Your body is made of different parts. They are not all conscious parts, but you accept them as being a part of you. You do not consider yourself fortunate that you happened to be your brain and not your liver. You believe that all your body parts are you, and only one part of you had to be conscious for you to be conscious. That is the same principle that explains why you are conscious at all, when the vast majority of the universe is empty space and rock. You weren't fortunate to be a person and not an unfeeling rock somewhere. You are the whole universe, rocks included, and only a part of you had to be conscious for you to be conscious. You cannot experience death while there is one part of space-time that has produced a moment of consciousness. If it were just one moment, that is all you would experience forever. If it had produced 2 moments, you would alternate between these 2 forever, and that's how you can be both people. You are alternating between the moments of experience they are each having, though you aren't aware of these transitions, because at any one time you only have the memories of the person whose brain generated that moment of consciousness. You may find this counterintuitive, because you feel as though you are experiencing life inside your head. That's because your eyes are located in your skull, right next to your brain. It's as if your eyes are windows, and you are looking out through them. But this too is an illusion. Your thoughts and feelings aren't located inside your brain, because consciousness does not have physical properties. You cannot weigh a thought, and it will not bleach in the sun. You won't find a thought inside a brain cell. It isn't a property of the brain, it's a product of it, in the same way that music is the product of an instrument. But if it's a product, where does it go, and how does it get there? To understand this, consider how the universe came into existence. It must have originated from something metaphysical, something that did not itself need to be created. It had to be numbers, an infinite random cloud of numbers. And among these numbers, there are blocks that form the code for self-executing programs, and one of these is our universe. There was no physical conduit that transferred the universe outside of this cloud of numbers. It just emerged from it into its own layer of existence, as did many other universes. In the same way, our brains, like computers, generate code, and from that code, moments of consciousness emerge into a new metaphysical layer of existence. We are all of this, all of these layers and all of these moments. There was a time not long ago when it would have been difficult to believe this. Our senses give us the impression that the world around us has substance. To us, objects have texture and weight, and that makes them seem so different from thoughts and emotions. But as virtual reality technology has advanced, and we are creating ever more realistic-looking virtual worlds that we can interact with and even feel with haptic technology, it's becoming much easier to understand how a world can arise from numbers alone. You may still have some reservations. You may argue that computer programs still need something physical to generate them. But this is yet another illusion. Aside from the fact that the experience itself is now often transmitted wirelessly, even the computer generating the game is not really physical. Microchips are made of atoms, which are made of subatomic particles, which are made of fields, and fields are vibrations. Vibrations are really just data. They represent code in a program generated by a metaphysical layer. Equations don't just describe how our reality works. Equations are what produced our reality. It is very much like a video game, but it's one that simply arose from a cloud of numbers. Our consciousness, likewise, is similar to a computer program generated by our brains. You are not safe, protected inside your skull. You are producing conscious moments like everyone else, and you, the universe, are experiencing all of them in random order, because no one is dictating which order they should be experienced in. It may not seem that way to you, but remember, it wasn't so long ago that people believed the sun revolved around the earth. Intuitively, it appeared that way. We couldn't feel the earth moving, and relative to the ground we were standing on, it appeared that the sun was moving. To overcome these illusions, to grasp the counterintuitive truth, you have to reason it out. You have to think. We must use our powers of reasoning and stop hurting each other. Violence is a mistake because you don't want to hurt yourself. And that is what you are doing every time you needlessly hurt someone else, and we will likely have to live with it forever. Perhaps we can populate our universe with happiness, reducing the chance of randomly experiencing an unhappy moment. But we'd have to survive long enough to achieve this, and for that to happen, we are going to have to work together.